Look at this. Just look at it. This isn't fireworks. This isn't a celebration. This is the night sky all for occupied Crimea erupting in sheer panic. Every streak of light, every explosion you see is a multi-million-dollar Russian air defense missile firing at absolutely nothing. And the reason why? Because a handful of aging Ukrainian fighter jets just executed a psychological attack so brutal, so cunning, that it didn't just break through Russia's defenses, it broke the minds of the people operating them. This footage, captured last night, shows the precise moment Russia's integrated air defense network, a system built over decades to fend off NATO, completely lost its sanity. Stick with me, because what you're about to learn goes far beyond a simple missile launch. This is the story of how Ukraine turned Russia's greatest strength into its most spectacular public failure, and in doing so, exposed the fatal flaw that changes everything about this war. This is the real-time collapse of a superpower's aura of invincibility. For context, you need to understand the fortress mentality. Since 2014, but especially since the full-scale invasion, Russia has been constructing what analysts call ENA 2 bubble and anti-access atau area denial zone over Crimea and the occupied Black Sea coast. This is a layered cake of death. The outer layer consists of long-range systems like the S-400 Triumph, capable of engaging targets 400 kilometers away. Inside that, the S-300S. Then, mid-range systems like the Buk. Then, the point defense Panzers and the Tor systems, designed to create a wall of lead against anything that gets through. The theory is perfect. Anything that flies, from a strategic bomber to a cruise missile, gets detected, tracked, and swatted down in a seamless, automated kill chain. It's a system built to overkill, to project such overwhelming force that an adversary wouldn't even fly. It is, on paper, Russia's unbreachable steel dome. And last night, Ukraine didn't just breach it, they made it punch itself in the face, live on camera, for the entire world to see. The operation began not with a rout of jets, but with the silent hum of computer servers and the calculated whispers of intelligence officers. Ukrainian planners had spent months, perhaps even a year, studying this problem. You don't beat a system like this head-on. You confuse it, you deceive it, you make it see monsters in the shadows. The tool for this job? A combination of old-school aerial bravery and cutting-edge, homegrown tech. On one hand, a flight of Ukraine's workhorse fighter jets likely MiG-29S or Su-27S that are older than the pilots flying them. On the other, a fleet of decoys. But not just any decoys. We're talking about sophisticated, radar-reflecting unmanned aerial vehicles, possibly modified from Soviet-era target drones or entirely new designs, engineered to mimic the radar cross-section of a fighter jet, cheap, disposable, and incredibly convincing to a radar operator staring at a screen under pressure. The plan was elegant in its audacity. As dusk fell, the decoys launched, not from the north, where attacks were expected, but from unpredictable vectors over the Black Sea. They flew high, making their radar signatures bright and unmissable to Russian early warning stations. To the young Russian conscriptor officer monitoring the situation deep in a bunker in Sevastopol, his screen would have lit up with a terrifying sight. What appeared to be multiple waves of Ukrainian aircraft formations of them screaming towards the Crimean coast. This was the first trigger of panic. The system was designed for this exact scenario. A massed air raid. Alarms blared. The vast, sleeping machine of Russian air defense jerked awake. This is where Phase 2, the real psychological masterstroke, began. As the Russian air defense network went to full alert, targeting radars across Crimea and Krasnodar lit up the electromagnetic spectrum, painting the incoming raids. Commanders made quick, frantic calculations. The threat was judged as credible, extreme, and imminent. The order was given. Engage. And so, from launch sites hidden in Crimean forests, from mobile units on the coast, the night sky began to tear itself apart. S-400 launchers belched fire. Buk missiles streaked upwards. Panzer systems, with their twin auto-cannons, started hosing the sky with tracer fire, creating an apocalyptic light show. They were firing at the decoys, expending missiles that cost hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars apiece, to shoot down glorified, cleverly designed model airplanes. But from the ground, to civilians with phones, to open-source intelligence analysts watching satellite data feeds, it looked like a desperate, all-out battle for survival. The message was sent: Crimea is under massive attack. But the decoy raid was merely the distraction. The magicians flourished with the light hand. While every Russian IAND radar was focused on the chaotic spectacle over the western Black Sea, the left hand was making its move. This is when the real Ukrainian fighter jets went to work. Not towards Crimea, but in a completely different sector, exploiting the gap created by the panic, the fact that Russian command was utterly preoccupied, that radar operators were overwhelmed with targets, that the overall system was momentarily fixated on the south strike packages of Ukrainian jets, flying ultra-low to avoid detection, pushed forward along the eastern front. Their targets were not in Crimea, but high-value assets in occupied Zaporizhzhia or Donetsk oblasts. We're talking about ammunition depots, command posts, logistics hubs, targets that have been difficult to hit because of strong local air defenses. But for those few precious minutes, those local defenses were likely stripped or inattentive, their resources and the attention sucked into the massive air battle over the sea. The Ukrainian jets popped up, launched their guided munitions like Zhedea and ERS or Storm Shadows and vanished back into the night. The physical damage from the secondary strike was likely significant, but its strategic value was secondary to the main event. The main event was the humiliation. It was the spectacle. For nearly an hour, Russia's premier air defense network fired wildly into empty sky. Missiles crossed paths, systems potentially interfered with each other, and the cost was astronomical. Open-source analysts have already begun the grim accounting. Each S-400 missile is estimated at over $1 million. A single Panzer air defense round costs thousands. They fired dozens, perhaps over 100 munitions in total. In one night, Ukraine may have triggered a resource depletion event worth tens, if not over $100 million. But the cost goes beyond rubles. It's a cost measured in credibility. The footage of this frantic, unhinged barrage is now viral. It's being analyzed by every military in the world. From NATO headquarters in Brussels to the Pentagon in Washington, to intelligence agencies in Beijing, they are all seeing the same thing. A system that can be rendered hysterical. A system whose human operators, under pressure, lack the discernment or the authority to question what their screens tell them. A system that is, at its core, brittle. The ultimate proof of the operation's success. The Russian response, or rather, the lack of a coherent one. State media was silent for hours. Military bloggers, usually quick to boast about downing Ukrainian jets, were left stammering, eventually claiming a record number of enemy air targets destroyed, a pathetic and transparent cover for the fact they'd been duped into shooting at ghosts. The Russian Ministry of Defense, as of this recording, has issued no more detailed statement. Their silence is deafening. It's the silence of an institution that has no more good explanation. They cannot admit they were fooled, so they say nothing. But the internet never forgets. The video are out. The satellite data is public. The truth is written in the fading smoke trails over the Black Sea. So, what does this mean for the war? This isn't just a tactical win. It's an operational and strategic earthquake. First, it proves decay in Russian T2 command and control. The system is not smart or adaptive. It's rigid. It followed its pre-programmed see-threat, kill-threat logic without the human judgment to ask, is this threat real? Second, it reveals a critical vulnerability in integration. A truly resilient network would have cross-checked these targets with other sensors: thermal, optical, electronic intelligence. The fact that they didn't, or couldn't, suggests the system is a collection of parts, not a unified whole. Third, and most importantly, it establishes Ukrainian dominance in moments of crisis. Ukraine now knows it can own the electromagnetic spectrum when it counts, creating reality for the Russian defender. They can make Russians see an air force that isn't there, and in doing so, blind them to the air force that is. This event will have chilling effects on Russian morale. The soldiers operating these systems, once confident behind their wall of steel, now know they can be tricked. They know their expensive missiles can be wasted on phantoms. They will second-guess their radars. Hesitation is a cancer in air defense. A moment's doubt is all a real cruise missile needs to get through. For Ukraine, this is a blueprint, a playbook they can and will run again, perhaps with variations. Next time, the decoys might be accompanied by a single real storm shadow, or the real attack might come from naval drones while the air defenses are busy. The possibilities are now endless. In the end, the most powerful weapon Ukraine deployed last night wasn't a missile or a jet. It was an idea. The idea that Russia's fortress is made of mirrors, not steel. The idea that its most feared systems are a hostage to their own paranoia. When those defenses lit up the sky, they weren't announcing their strength. They were broadcasting their fear, their confusion, and their profound weakness for the entire world to see. They illuminated, in the most literal way possible, the gap between the image of Russian power and its reality. And that light show will haunt the Kremlin for the rest of this war. Final words: call to action. What you just experienced was more than a battle report. It was a deep dive into the mind of modern warfare, where psychology and electrons are as important as bullets and bombs. This channel exists for this exact purpose: to go beyond the headlines and unpack the how and the why behind the world's most critical conflicts. We analyze the strategy, the technology, and the human decisions that shape history in real time. If your mind is racing right now, if you're seeing the war and maybe all of modern geopolitics in a new light, then you understand the value of this kind of analysis. This is your invitation to go deeper. Don't just be a passive consumer of news. Become an informed observer. Hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell. Because in the coming days, we will be breaking down the next layer, what specific decoy technology Ukraine likely used, and how NATO is learning from this to counter China. You won't get this analysis anywhere else. The world is changing fast. Subscribe, and make sure you understand it.